Okay. Um, all right. So, yeah, it's good to see you guys again. And we're missing a few, but I hope they'll join during the meeting. This is the weekly Highland Alpine Chamber of Commerce Organizing Committee meeting. And we got a few things to talk through today, some good progress made over the week, and we'll go from there. So yeah, maybe we can start with Joe if you want to tell some of your progress that you made if on some
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, I chatted with my husband Sam. He's very familiar with the 501(c)(6)s.
Good.
He deals with that all the time. And he also um he's just finishing up. He's kind of like in the heat right now of things because he's finishing up some sort of like equity deal at the University of Utah, something big.
Oh, okay.
So that's coming to a close, but he actually has volunteered to help set us up. So
Wow, that is great.
great.
Does he have any feel for how long it will take?
I don't think it'll take that long.
Okay.
Probably a couple weeks. I'm kind of speaking from vague experience setting up my own business.
Uh,
I don't think it's not that huge of a process, but it does rely upon us establishing like member dues, bylaws, that sort of thing. And that information I'm going to get from Melissa tomorrow. We had an appointment yesterday,
mhm.
but she is on the city council at Saratoga Springs, I believe.
Uh,
And so
yeah.
she got drawn into the mayor's office and she messaged me. She's like, I'm so sorry. I have to cancel. Can we do it a different day? And I said, yeah, Thursday or Friday. What do you got? So
Mhm.
she has Friday. So I'm chatting with her tomorrow. And my goal is just to learn from her. And then I'll report back on Thursday what we learn. And hopefully, even just like if she's willing to share her documents with me, like how they've set it up, what their structure is, we don't have to follow their structure or their particular way.
Right.
But at least it gives us a format to go, oh, okay, this will be useful to us.
That's great. Yeah, good job. Thank you for doing that.
Mhm.
Um,
Sorry to join late here, Rob. I
that's
had
okay.
glitches trying to sign in. I've been trying for 5 minutes or six, whatever it's been, and
You're
I
good.
finally made it.
No problem. Just to update, Joe Lambert had talked with Melissa, and she's going to have a meeting tomorrow with her and get a lot of details on some lessons learned over there with their Chamber of Commerce. I think it's called Pioneer, or I don't Pioneer Crossing, or I can't remember what it's called.
Valley,
Yeah,
Valley something, Valley something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Anyway, so we'll get some information on that, and then she also found that it's more of the requirements for the 501(c)(6), and her husband has volunteered to get that set up for us without a charge, which is really nice.
that's really nice. Wow, thank you. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
he's awesome. He's happy to help. I mean, he just it's for a lot of it, it's stuff he knows how to do. He does it all the time. So he'll set up the first thing he does is set up the organization with the state. That's step one. You create the entity. And then step two is we got to build in all the whatever bylaws and member dues and structural things. And then once that's all squared away, then we actually start out by filling out a 1024 form,
Uh-huh.
just so you know what the process will be. And in that 1024, we select 501(c)(6), but he can just do it. Like we're not going to stress about it. We're just going to like basically say, "Hey, what information do we need to give you?"
Mm.
And then you just do it. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Let's see. Liz just texted and said she was at a firehouse sort of meeting, and she's trying to join now. So I will text her that she's asking where the link is, and I'll just tell her that it was in an emailed link.
Yeah.
Was it
And it should
yesterday?
be on our calendar probably as well.
Okay. Okay. All right. So she'll probably join soon. Um, let's see. We did get a report back from it's Chris Lundell, if I remember right. Let me look up.
Yes, it was Chris. And I've talked to the mayor, Carla, as well. And
Uh,
she's pleased. She, like Highland, felt like that American Fork really wasn't giving us what we wanted.
mhm.
Um, so
And
She's
I
very supportive of
hate
it.
to diss on them because Josh is a great guy and I'm sure
He
they have a
is.
lot of good programs, but it's just we are so far out of the way of that area that it just wasn't the best for us. So yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah, he honestly is a great guy, and he's really well known in the chamber throughout the nation. He's kind of well known for being one of the top ones, but he is so spread out
Hmm.
uh, and has so much responsibility that he's got to focus on American Fork more than anything. And you know, so I understand that it's just not the best fit.
Yep. Well, and with that, I think we can go ahead and do the same things we're doing for the other for Highland businesses. Then, I mean, it sounds like we've got good feedback from the mayor and others in Alpine. So I can start contacting them and inviting them to this meeting once a week. Also, invited all the businesses I have email addresses for, which is about 47, and so they're all invited. And some came, we've gotten a small crowd this time. We had a bigger crowd last time, but we'll try to encourage more businesses to show up for this meeting. I'm sure when we get the chamber started and have some good events that more will come. But yeah, we'll include them and start including them this week based on that.
I've
So,
I've got on the agenda for next Tuesday for the city council a communication item where I'm going to just brief the council so everybody's aware, nobody's surprised. I've reached out to almost all of them individually anyway, but this will be kind of a formal. Here's where we're at. Here's who we've got on the committee, and kind of give them an update.
sounds good. And I can give you a checklist of all the things we've agreed to during the meeting so that you could go through too. I think that'd be good for you to
That would be wonderful.
that
That,
checklist. We did make several decisions last time, and we'll see if we can make some decisions this time going forward. Um, before I just jump into my agenda items, do you all have some thoughts or agenda items you'd like to bring up today?
Uh, I have a thought. I'd love to, because I have actually, although I've been a member of BNI for 3 years and I'm familiar with business runnings and things like that,
Uh-huh.
I'm unfamiliar with Chamber of Commerce's and how they function or the value that we add to the community, what sorts of things are typically done by a chamber, and like also what purpose, what are our purposes in creating this chamber? And I think it would be valuable for us to have some of that discussion. I'd love to hear other people's experiences if they've ever been a member of a chamber of commerce and what kinds of things they saw occurring, what were beneficial or not beneficial. These are questions I'm going to ask Melissa tomorrow on our meeting, but I'd love to hear any perspectives. Plus, I'd like to know what questions you have specifically for Melissa so that when I'm on the meeting, I can address those questions.
if there's a single word that would describe, I think, the greatest benefit, it's going to be networking. There's a lot of networking that goes on. There's luncheons that happen. There's luncheons defined specifically for just networking. So networking is one of the biggest ones, but the support, and it really depends on the chamber and how long it's been around, and the businesses, how far they're willing to go. But I can tell you the Chamber of Commerce in up in Brigham City actually runs their Peach Days. They make money on Peach Days every year, but they organize it as a chamber. They have a subcommittee within the chamber that organizes it. The city basically sits back and supports it. I think they support financially a little bit, but a lot of it is profit making for the chamber. Actually makes a little bit of money for their operations. So it really depends on the chamber, but that's been my experience.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
I wanted to bring up the American Fork Chamber of Commerce because I wanted to um, show what they're showing their member benefits are. They're a good example of one that I think is one
They are.
as well. So here's what they show. Uh, Chamber events, you get a discount as a chamber member. Discounts on advertising and annual chamber community guide, which I really think we should do something like that. Community guide. I think the residents of Highland should know where electronically they can go and maybe even have something printed that has all of the businesses that are part of the chamber listed on them. Um, Free booth space at chamber community events, excluding steel days. Opportunity to do a giveaway at Connect for lunch. List in chamber membership directory and chamber community guide, which that can be online. Ribbon cutting ceremony with social media promotion. Ability to market in welcome bags. Uh, I remember when I talked to Liz about a chamber, she said, I think we should have welcome bags for new residents that come in that have something from all the local businesses that want to participate, just to say, hey, we're here. If you need someone to mow your lawn, this neighbor has a business that, or if you need someone to do a repair in your house. So
How do they identify a new move-in? Is it just through real estate? I mean, is there a
no, they
particular
get
tracking?
the utilities of the city. So the city
Oh, got it.
partners with chambers a lot of times and says, hey, here's our
Yeah.
new move-ins for the month, and then we'd reach out to them, make them feel welcome. So
That's
that is
great.
something we could do. Um, let's see, opportunity to sponsor chamber events, special events, offers and weekly chamber newsletter, custom landing page hosted on chamber website, um, special events posted on calendar on chamber website, ability to market and welcome bags. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Um,
Cool.
then the list goes on. But anyway, you can go to the American Fork Chamber member benefits, but we can choose where we want to start. I thought it was interesting too. I think that there was a special for in-home businesses. So you get most of the basic membership benefits for $250 per year. And then if you're an in-home business that doesn't have a storefront or anything like that, then it was 150 is what I saw somewhere listed. I don't remember where, but
Yeah,
uh,
that's true.
I think that's pretty good pricing, pretty low pricing for marketing to local people and networking and things like that. So my first thoughts are um, I I I like doing podcasts, and I think it'd be fun to have maybe a podcast once a week that then goes on to a YouTube channel that highlights some of the businesses in the area that would welcome all members of the community to join in and learn more about the local businesses. So maybe we highlight three or four businesses a week through a podcast where they each are given 15 minutes to tell all about their business and or less, if it's less. But that's a thought that I had that maybe we could.
I like that thought, but I think that's a lot to fit in a little. I wouldn't do a podcast longer than like 30 minutes. I'd keep it quick.
There you go. Okay.
Um, and I also, if you're doing 3 or 4 businesses a week, you're going to get through those businesses in like the first quarter of the year.
That's
Let's
right.
see.
So my thought would be just highlight one business every week. Just, interview the person, chat with them. It could be just simple, but keep it short, keep it 20 minutes or less. Like it could be quick, but
Uh-huh.
it's just kind of like get to know your community, get to know your businesses in your community, get to see the faces behind the businesses and the owners behind it. That's a fun idea, Rob. I like that idea.
Yeah. That would give us exposure as well, which is always a benefit to all the businesses when the chamber gets a little more exposure.
Yeah. And by the way, we might want to talk about a website at some point. But this is like so much has to happen before any of these things really.
Right. That's
But
right.
but just throwing this out there, I know this guy, he does websites
Good.
for $89 a month.
Mhm.
That is the
That's
cost of starting it up, building it, the entire cost. And then it's just an ongoing anything we need changed, any adjustments, but they host it, they do everything for you, and it's $89 a month. That is it.
That is good.
That's
That
my, if
is,
you guys check out my website, that is my guy. And you can see the professionalism of it. It's really a good website.
I like
I,
that.
I can
Uh,
drop it in the chat if you guys want to look at his quality.
I'd
so
like to look at it. That's going to be tough to beat. I mean, that sounds like gold right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would love an introduction to him. I don't think it's too early to talk about a website. And the reason is because if the word gets around that we're getting a chamber, there might be squatters, you know what I mean?
Yes,
And
right.
I host websites. I have programmers. I probably own about 30 domains, but I have one that I think that it would be a really good domain to start with. But I didn't. I was tempted to just buy it, but I don't want to do that without the group here, because if the group chose something else, then I just have this web domain that I may never use. But I did some research, so now would probably be a good time to talk about that. Did some research and found that most chambers are using .coms, not .orgs. So I thought, you could say highlandalpinechamber.org, highlandalpinechamber.com. You could do highlandalpine.com and just keep it shorter because the shorter a domain, the more likely someone is going to type it in or find it.
You could also do HA. You can
Uh,
do HAchamber.com.
uh-huh. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna see if that's available. So, but yeah, let's talk through some other options because that's just the ones that I thought of. HighlandAlpineChamber.org, HighlandAlpineChamber.com, HighlandAlpine.com, and so let's see, HA Chamber. Let's see if that's available. HAChamber.com. But I do want to,
It's nice to highlight the name of the city, honestly, Highland.
yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah. The HA, it sounds alluring because it's short and simple, but but we lose that visibility. I like Highland Alpine Chamber.
I agree. I like that too.
Even though it's longer, you're okay with HighlandAlpineChamber.com.
Let's ask
Yeah,
ChatGPT.
Yeah. Should we do
exactly.
highlandalpine.com or should we do highlandalpinechamber.com? Because that's the ones that I was just like, which do we choose? It was
Well, if we do
toss up.
highlandalpine.com, I think it can be confusing because, like, what is that?
Yeah, yeah. We have Lone Peak, public safety that is Highland Alpine combined.
Mhm.
I think we need to put Chamber in there.
Okay, give me a second. I'm going to mute myself for a sec.
Okay. While she's muted. Oh. So, websites aren't too expensive anyway, maybe $10, $15 per year. We could even do both if we aren't totally clear, but it sounds like we're getting kind of leaning more towards Highland Alpine Chamber. We'll see what ChatGPT.
ChatGPT says
Oh,
highlandalpinechamber.org is what they claim is the best option. I don't know if we care .org or .com
uh,
because .org usually professes nonprofits,
That
civic organizations.
I think .org is going to wear better with the community. In other words, they're not going to see it as well. I mean, what is it? And .org really does give the impression that it's a nonprofit or
Yeah.
a service organization
mhm. I
rather than a
I would
company.
recommend we do both, just so we don't have
That's a
some
good idea. Yeah.
coming in, and we would advertise the .org but have .com because a lot of people type in .com just naturally.
Yeah.
And actually, for a few dollars, you can do .net as well.
Uh,
Uh, I've done that with my domain, but both .com and .net. I didn't do .org, but
I don't know, but it can get pricey. Like I went with truetransformations.net because if I tried .com, I had to pay like thousands of dollars.
oh boy.
I was like, I'm not going to do .com. I just don't care. We're going to do .net. But I think if it's something available, which I imagine it would be.
both
I mean,
are, yeah.
who
Both
else has Highland Alpine Chamber? Nobody does.
Right.
Nobody will. So yeah, both are available. And honestly, right at the end of this conversation, I'm going to buy it just before anyone
Do
else
it.
gets a chance. It will be
That's
officially,
wonderful.
it'll be officially owned by the chamber by our chamber. because I will either get reimbursed for it
Yep,
or count it towards my dues.
Yeah,
So,
perfect.
so yeah, so there'll be no question about who owns it. It's owned by the chamber.
perfect.
So
Great.
great. So yeah, and honestly, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't really talk to your guy and look at any other options we have too, and maybe make a decision by a week or two and get going on that because it would be nice to have the website well on its way by the time we are fully incorporated.
It's going to lure in the businesses just a little more quickly. The
Hmm.
further we are down the road,
Yep.
it's certainly going to help.
Hmm. Do you guys all? So, all right. Well, I'm going to propose that we do highlandalpinechamber.com and highlandalpinechamber.org. Um, all in favor?
Yes.
Yep, yep,
Yes.
yep. And then everyone's in agreement. Then the other one is that we start looking, you guys are all in favor of us starting to look at who would build the website and starting with Joanne's group, look at
Yeah.
hers and any other options over the next week and maybe make a decision next week on that. Is that fair to propose? I'll propose that. Does anyone disagree or?
No, that sounds
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. I'm happy to chat with him and bring him into the conversation. So if you want, he maybe can join us next week and chat with us about it. I don't know. I don't know if that's valuable or if we just want to do a private conversation and then
Okay. And Liz is trying to join. Let me get that going here. Let's see. I've got to find the link and
I wonder why it's hard for her.
let's see.
It
Because
was
it was
tough for
pretty.
me, but that's my lack of skills. I was 40 years old when I turned on my first computer. So
Yeah.
I think it was
Isn't that crazy?
68K.
Well, I
64K.
64K. I actually remember when I was a kid playing on the Commodore 64.
That's what I had.
Yeah,
That's
the
what I had.
Commodore 64. That was 64 kilobytes
Yeah.
in the whole computer. Yeah. Yeah. The other thing I thought of a chamber could do that could add value to the community, especially if we're in communication with the city council, is just like, what needs does the community have? Because we may not know or see those needs, but then the city council does. So,
Yeah.
we could maybe kind of shape an event around the needs of the people here.
I like that.
I missed that because I was focusing on getting Liz in the meeting. What was that you said, Joanne?
I
Go
was
ahead.
just saying that another benefit to having a chamber of commerce who, we can communicate with
Hmm.
the city council and the city government and find out what the needs of the people are. Because in the city, you'll see things from a completely different vantage point than any one entrepreneur. But then when we put our talents together, we can actually serve the community, maybe in the events we choose or how, we can be creative and say, how can we be of service to our community with our talents, what we have? So
Yeah, sounds good.
Fantastic.
All right. What else do we want to accomplish today? Those are, I think, getting the organization started and getting a website are two really key things.
Really.
I think those are really crucial.
Huh.
What else?
why don't I put my call in connection with you, Rob?
Mhm.
Because you just bought the domain or you will.
Yes.
So I kind of feel like that the otherwise I become like the middleman of that. It might be just best to say let's just connect you and that way we have that up and running. We can talk about what we want to include in the website.
That'd be
Um, it might be nice to get some like I don't know, maybe chat with Josh who built this website or whatever. I know he didn't build it, but he
Mhm.
provided the information for it or
Yeah. Let's see what we can
or we can
do.
even, honestly, what you can do is just share this website with, or any website we want to kind of emulate, or some of the information we want to emulate. We may not want to do the same like vibe or color scheme or anything, but we might say, yeah, we want to have a very prominent button that allows people to join it. We want to have a membership benefits thing. We want to have a login, a contact, who's in the chamber, members, like whatever it is we want on that. What we can do is show it to Mike, who builds it, and then he knows, okay, this is the concept of what they want. Let me build it.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
sounds good. Yeah, let's talk to Josh and see who he uses because who knows, maybe they have a template that they just do it really cheap for us, and so
The
I
downside with having a build,
uh-huh.
I've done this two ways. One, I have paid someone to build a website for me. The challenge with that is, and this was years back,
Mhm.
they built it, I paid them a price, and then I had a nice, happy little website. Well, guess what? When things start going wrong or little like with updates and
Glitches.
things like that, little malfunctions, guess what happens? Now I'm looking around for someone to help me maintain it. Or someone who knows how to get in and do the back coding work and solve the problem and this or that. With Mike, I brought him on because this was a big problem and I was just floating along, just going, why? I
Hmm.
brought him on because every week at BNI, he's like, it's $89 a month and I build and maintain everything. $89 a month. I'm like, that is so doable. Yes.
Oh, horrible.
Huge yes for that. So finally I just bit the, cut my losses with the other guy who never, he just did the build once. So I like the idea of having someone maintain it because anything that goes wrong, any updates that occur, any technological background things that you're like, this isn't working right, all I have to do is tell Mike. He's like, I'm on it.
Sounds good.
Come get more. I don't know how to put this just to my ears.
Hey Liz, you're you're off mute.
I don't think there's a way without
Hey Rob, I
Yeah,
think you can
I
mute
I
like
her
can
because
mute her.
you're
Yeah,
the
there we go. I think I muted her. Yes, Liz, when you're ready, you can unmute yourself and say hi.
and Rob, I'll just put him in conversation with you. I'll put him in a three-way text with you and I'll introduce the three of us together and then we can talk about that build.
That would be awesome. Okay. Um, let's see what else. Just some things that we'll think about for future meetings. I'm just they're coming to my mind right now. We're a lot smaller than some of the chambers around, so we won't have a full-time chamber president like other ones have, I don't think. I think
Yeah, they're the director, the executive directors,
is
and
that
then
what
the
they call them?
president is
Yeah.
elected on the kind of the board.
Yeah.
So yeah, they would be the executive director.
Yeah, and there's some of them have quite a hefty pay, and I don't think we'll be able to afford that either for a
No,
small community chamber like we are going to be. So we'll have to be creative on how we manage it, and we might manage it as a team, and like we're doing the meetings now, instead of having one person get paid a salary or a big paycheck to manage it. So yeah, big cities
I
I'm
like
sure
that.
have like I actually looked it up, hundreds of thousands, $1 to $200,000 for the chamber presidents or executive directors in big cities. But
Yeah,
yeah, our revenue is going to be very small, you know, and so it's not going to have that kind of a position here, at least for the time being. So
that's exactly right. I don't see
um,
different.
another thing is, so I think Josh Walker, because he is in charge there and that is his full-time job, then it's his phone number on the chamber website. I don't know what we'll do in this case, whether we'll have a separate phone number or whoever's in charge to put their phone number there, whoever is kind of the face of it.
We
But
could do an email address
yeah, we could make it.
because if somebody wants to talk to someone, they can email like an email address that is the chamber's email address.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
we can have assignment, like someone can be on assignment. I kind of think of how it is in words where it's like, Highland 16th Bishop Rick yeah, or not website, email address. So it's always the same year,
Yeah.
even though a new bishop gets called. So
Yes,
in the same way we could do it like that. I just feel like anyone who wants to get in contact will be happy. I'm sure they would be happy to email, right?
Yeah, and if we monitor it, so if someone checks it daily, so no one has to wait a week or two, then I think that's plenty fast, you know.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And we can put that on somebody. We'll need to divide up into committees because there's a lot of responsibilities and we'll
Yeah.
need people to take responsibility. But I think that works. We
Yep.
could talk about having a phone number. It's not the end of the world to have a phone number, but it becomes then if, let's say it's my phone number. Now that becomes kind of my full-time job. Like somebody calls me, it may not be that frequently, but it's like one more thing, you know?
Yeah, that's right, right. Yeah.
So
Yep. I'm just checking out the Valley Crossroads. You know, we were struggling with the name, but it is Valley Crossroads Chamber.
I think so, yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
looking to see if they have a phone number on theirs. American Fork does, but I doubt that all of them do. So let's
We
see.
can't really see your screen that well. Make it expand. Oh, there you go.
Oh, can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
it.
Yep. Okay. So member login, the chamber directory. Where's the contact us? Maybe it's at the bottom. Contact us. They do have a phone number, and
I do.
I wonder if that's Melissa's number.
Yeah, it probably is. It's her full-time job. Like I think that's what she does. She's the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce. That's what it says on her LinkedIn.
Mhm.
So she probably gets paid to do it and she does it.
It's a
So
different phone number than I show, but it might ring to her phone too. So, or maybe she's got two phones. So,
I,
so
who
yeah.
knows? Or maybe she has that assigned out and somebody is responsible for that. I don't know.
Uh,
I'll
uh,
ask her. I'll ask her those questions because are there any other questions we want to ask Melissa before we close up?
maybe um, events. I'm curious to see how her member benefits list compares with American Forks because I think we could probably start comparing, you know, the differences that other ones provide and start deciding what we want to provide, you know, our
Exactly.
chamber members. I think
Yeah,
that's a good thing to sort through over the next week or two is what benefits do we want to provide because that's what people are going to be asking when they want to join. And you know, as soon as we get it organized and set up, then we'll want to start charging dues and providing member benefits as soon as possible so that we can move forward. So yeah, I think that's a big step. And so maybe we share some emails back and forth over the next week on the organizing committee members to decide, you know, talk through some of the different things we want to share, we want to provide the first year. And maybe that expands over years as we grow and as we get more volunteers, but some basic ones that we want to provide.
that's a good idea.
Sounds good.
I
And
like
those
it.
who didn't join the call, we'll just tell them that we gave them all the assignments. So,
That's right. Now, Liz, I still have you on mute. Are you available? Did you want to say something? You can unmute on your end, or I can unmute you. Let's see. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Let's see how that goes. All right. I think that's the biggest things I have this week. So, when did you say your husband is going to be done with that big project? I forgot what you said on that, Joe.
Yeah, I believe it's next week.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
he'll connect in. I actually invited him to join us today.
Hmm.
And he would have had he not had a meeting. So I'll see, like I'll ask him today for next Thursday at noon and see if that's available, if he can hold it.
Uh-huh.
But it will be second to his clients. Like if there is a
of
requirement for him,
course.
he will he'll
Yeah.
that I think he's yeah, he's just happy to do it. He's happy to help and he'll answer questions. I think it'll be better if he's on the meeting with us because he can help answer questions and let us know what we're responsible to provide for him in order for it to happen, you know, because we'll have to make decisions based on that. So
Sounds great. Okay, so we'll
Sounds
look at
wonderful.
progress on that next week or the following week. And but yeah, I think that's great. Good start. And we'll get the website purchased and get that going this next week too. So all right. Well, thanks
awesome.
everybody.
All
Thank
right.
you,
Well, thank
Rob.
you, Rob.
Thanks. Talk to y'all
Appreciate it.
later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.